Today's guest is proof that it's never too late to rewrite the script. And I have Claire, aka DJ FADJ, in the house with me today. And she went from mortgage broker to international DJ, speaker, and fierce advocate for women in music. She's lit up stages from Singapore's F1 after parties to Taylor Swift's VIP suite, performing for major brands and global icons, including Katy Perry, Jimmy Choo, Universal Pictures, Mercedes-Benz, and the AFL Brownlow Awards. Claire spins genre-blending sets that get people moving and keep them coming back for more. She's also the founder of the House of FADJ and DJing School, mentoring the next wave of female DJ talent. Claire's not just creating unforgettable experiences, she's changing the face of music one beat at a time. So welcome, Claire.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I love your story and I can't wait to get into this. So let's start with the unexpected. So finance to DJing. Yeah. So it's not your typical career path. Can you take us back to life before music, and what did your world look like as a finance broker, and when did you start feeling the pull towards something different?
Well, I've actually music has always been a part of my life. So it just was always just a side thing. My dad was a drummer. I think I tried every single instrument under the sun when I was a kid. So I've always loved music. But I think growing up in an Asian family, you're either like pigeonholed to be a lawyer, doctor, or an accountant. Both my parents were lawyers. They actually told me not to do law. So I'm like, what do I do? Thought I'd get into finance. It was a great, building block for understanding business, which has been important for my businesses now. And I was a stockbroker and finance broker for about 15 years.
Wow.
So I think I enjoyed it. I don't know, when you're young, you just kind of go into it, and it was a great way to just work out what I wanted to do with my life. I was a successful finance broker, but I just always felt like, is this me?
Yeah.
That was this kind of always the back of my mind. I earned great money, and on paper I was very successful. I've always worked in male-dominated industries, and I wasn't really shy of that, but I did feel like that I had to pretend to be one of the blokes, and in order for me to keep up, especially as a finance broker, and it was like mainly in males, I felt like I really wasn't myself. I was trying to be someone else. And so I guess when I was having my children, my two girls, that was a really great circuit breaker for me. And I went on a maternity leave, and I didn't go back to finance broking even after like my first daughter. I decided to do some bookkeeping, but really not a lot, because it's such a full on time as a first mum. And it was really when I was having my second baby, and I thought, am I meant to keep going? Sorry.
Yeah, yes.
I just want to tell this story. But I just felt like I had this moment when I was delirious feeding my second baby, and you don't really get as much sleep at all in those first few years. And I thought that I kind of asked myself, like, what do I want to do? Do I want to go back into finance? Is this something that I really want to get back into? And at 2 a.m, absolutely delirious, it was very clear that I did not want to go back.
Yeah.
And so I literally asked myself in the universe, what is it? What do I want to do that's going to be meaningful enough to be away from my young family? And at that point, I really missed music. I really missed DJing, and I did that on the side. I never really did it as a job. It was more so for fun. I'd been DJing for quite a few years, but it was always like at parties or at friends' houses and a few bars when I was living in London, but nothing like what I'm doing now. And I thought, okay,
Yeah.
I might just get into doing fashion parties, early parties, short times like 6 to 8, or little
Yeah.
cocktail parties to fit in with my family life. And I've always loved fashion. I love meeting people. It was a great thing to do as an outlet from being a young mum.
Yeah.
And and that's how it started, really. I just said yes to, and then literally, when you just kind of marinate the idea in your mind, an opportunity came up. And a friend of mine who owns a fashion label was doing a charity event with the designer Dion Lee. And she actually said, "Do you know any DJs?" And I said, "I'll do it." Before I was even ready, I said, "I'll do it. I'll do it for free." I was not at all ready prepared, but I had a month, I think, to prepare. And that just really helped me laser focus on this one particular set. And that was the jumping board. That was the springboard for me to get other gigs. And from that one event, I got booked multiple times. And I got booked for fashion events in that Centre Claremont Quarter. And then someone asked me whether I'd do like corporate events. So I did corporate events that led to weddings. I didn't think that I would be into weddings. I thought, wedding DJs are a bit naff. But I ended up having so much fun being a part of weddings and being part of someone's, couple's special day, that I love doing weddings. So I just kind of said yes to all these things,
Yeah.
not at all ready, but you just got to jump in and give it a go when those opportunities arise.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love that you got that clarity. Like, even though
Mm,
you were deliriously tired,
mm.
clarity is so powerful and it really creates that momentum. And of course, like you say, once you've got that clarity and the universe, is then like, oh, she's caught up and now I'll give her an opportunity. So I love that you just jumped into it. And I
Sounds
think
like
it's
a
great.
crazy idea, but
Yeah.
I just think,
So
if opportunities come up, why not? You've got nothing to lose.
absolutely. Yeah. And I also think it's so powerful that you knew what you didn't want to do,
Yes, that's
as
true.
well, which took you forward. So I just love that story. So, and it just grew from more than, oh, Claire, I'll get Claire to DJ at my party or, little events. And now it's grown to something huge.
Yes,
So,
yeah. It,
yeah.
it it's been so when I just started getting really way busy and having to turn down events, I ended up I started a DJ agency, House of FADJ Entertainment, and that was primarily booking female DJs. And that from the DJ agency, I loved nurturing and mentoring other female DJs. I really got a lot out of it. It was really fulfilling. And the DJ agency got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then, as we know, COVID hit. The first thing that was cancelled were events. So
Yeah.
I had um, about 80 events cancel in one day.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
my own events, but also events that I booked for other DJs. And it was a blessing in disguise, because I think before that, everything was just like, I felt like I was almost like finance broken again. Like it was just this rat race, and it, that it was a really busy time, um, busy period of my life. The kids were still young. I was barely seeing my husband. I feel like COVID came at a good time, because it just made us all reset, and it made me realize again, what do I want to do? Like it was those
Mm,
moments of clarity.
yeah.
And it was actually when we were in these amazing gorges called Karajini in Western Australia in the Pilbara region, that it's just stunning. You feel like you're in a different world. You're out of this world, really, like on a different planet. And I had that moment of I I want to teach. I want to start a DJ school for women and for children. It's because I didn't have that. And
Yeah.
it actually took me a really long time to learn how to DJ because I didn't have someone that I felt comfortable speaking to, asking questions. I thought the questions they're asking were stupid questions because, again, I was in a male dominated industry. I didn't want to sound stupid. I didn't want to sound like I didn't know anything when clearly I actually didn't know anything. And it's okay to
Yeah.
not know anything and
Yeah.
to ask questions. I encourage my students to ask questions, but I felt so alone and not having that opportunity to ask anyone questions or feel
Mm.
comfortable with that really was my driving force for starting the DJ school and creating an inclusive environment and community for these women who thought that they could never even know how to press play and now getting booked for gigs and for movie premieres and parties and thinking they may be too old to start DJing, and be able to
Mm.
give them the opportunity that I created for myself and took a long time for me to do. That's been such a great fulfilling experience for me that I didn't think I'd be able to, just by saying yes to a charity gig um, over 10 years ago. Now I've got a DJ school. I kind of have the agency is kind of on a holding bay, but I still book um, DJs for events, for movie premieres, for big birthdays and weddings, and I think making people realize that you don't have to be DJ. You don't have to have a DJ career in a
Yeah.
nightclub or in a bar.
Yeah.
Um, with super young people, there's so many different ways that you can DJ.
Yeah.
I've built my DJ career on not working in a club.
Yeah. Okay. I love that.
And yes, and the opportunities have been great over the last few years. I thought I'd be slowing down, but it doesn't seem like it.
It certainly does not seem like it. And we'll get to that in a moment because you've played
Yeah.
for one of my most favorite people. But I want to touch on because I've got a finance background as well, and
Yeah.
very male dominated industry
Mm.
as you did, but you've stepped into one. So, did you face many challenges when you stepped onto the scene as a DJ as a woman?
I tried not to think of the challenges. Like I really just went in like full like my blinkers on,
Yeah.
because I mean I had a lot of self-doubt, a lot of self-doubt now thinking back about it, and worried about
Mm.
what are other people going to think of me, are they going to like my song, I'm really quite the underdog, female, Asian, um people I think don't expect me to play how I play and DJ
Right.
how I DJ, which I quite like. I always think it's always good to come in as an underdog.
Yeah.
Um, and then you've got the opportunity to blow people's minds. So it's I I did feel like I really just had to find my point of difference, and that is what I encourage all of my students and anyone that I mentor is don't go in DJing like a guy, DJ like a girl, DJ like yourself, like don't be afraid. And that's taken me many years to get to that point, but I feel like that is my point of difference. I DJ like a girl, don't DJ like a guy. I mean, if you want to, but you don't have to. And I feel like that when I went in, I was very aware that I did not want to be like the guys. I didn't want to
Yeah.
dance like a guy. I wanted to look up, interact, smile, dance. I wear outlandish, sparkly clothes, but that was to get me out of mum mode. I feel like that was how my kind of sense of style evolved, was to get me out of mum mode and into DJ FADJ mode.
Yeah.
But you often see a lot of DJs, male DJs, they're just looking down on their decks or computer. They're not looking up. They're not engaging. They're not dancing. They're not smiling. And I really found that through engaging with the crowd, that's how you intuitively can read the crowd. I know what to play by looking up. And you can't do that when you're looking down and
No.
you're kind of in the corner. So that might one of my challenges would be self-doubt. And that was the
Yeah.
question you asked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it it really was, I still get a bit of self-doubt and nerves, but I think nerves are good. It means you're about to do something really big,
Yeah.
and out of your comfort zone. So I
Mm.
actually thrive on that now. But we're in the beginning, yeah, it's really nerve-wracking, and you're just worried about all these things. What am I going to play? Are they going to like the song? It's am I going to make a mistake? Which I still do. I still make mistakes, and it's okay because the majority of the people that are watching you have no idea what you're doing. That's
Exactly.
that's what I say to my students is like,
Y-
no one knows what you're doing, as long as you're creating a great vibe and you look like you're having fun. That was a big turning point for me when I started to have fun and go not worry about what other people thought of me.
Mm.
That's I feel like that's when my DJ career really, really took off, and I became a better DJ when I stopped worrying about what other people thought of me. So that was
That
a huge block for me.
Yeah, that's such a great message, like for um, women in general, in
Yeah.
terms of not trying to conform, not trying to fit in to the norm, particularly, if they're working in a male dominated industry, to
Yeah.
be yourself, anchor to you, be you, and I suppose embrace the nerves, embrace
Yeah.
that self doubt. I think we're always going to have some self doubt. It's what
Absolutely.
we do with that
Yeah.
that makes the biggest difference. And like you say, you play your way, and it's certainly worked for you. So I think that's a really, really great message. So,
Mm.
and you've now played sets at some incredible events from Katy Perry, who's one of my favorites,
She's amazing. Are you
to the
seeing her?
Formula
She's
One.
coming over?
Pardon?
You going to the concert?
I I did just see that she's coming over, so I went to her last one.
Yeah. So did
Loved
I.
it.
That was when I played
Oh,
for her.
really?
Yeah, so that was I think that was like 2018,
Yes.
2019. It was just before COVID, and I had played for her shoe line launch. So that's when I met her when she came over and she collaborated with Maya,
Wow.
and she had a shoe line, and that was on the back
Amazing.
of that concert, which was amazing.
Her concert was amazing. So,
Yeah.
what is one of your most memorable or surreal DJ moments, and what did that teach you about what's possible?
That was oh gosh, that's a tough question because there's been a few lately. The a highlight would be playing for the AFL Brownlow Awards. Like I
Yeah.
never thought that because it was over, thank goodness to COVID. It was in Perth. So that grand final and the Brownlow
Oh,
Awards
you
were
played
all
that
in
one.
Perth. And that was
Yep.
how I got the opportunity. And I thought I would never ever think to play at the Brownlow Awards. So that was a big moment for me because, just never thinking that I could DJ at these kind of events. It just helps your confidence as well.
Mm.
And then Katy Perry as well was a really, really great moment. And just getting up that close and was a dream come true because I literally just saw her in concert that night before, and then I get to see her that was a big moment. The last year has been I have and I think honestly said I want to be playing at bigger events. And so I don't know whether I'm energetically putting myself out there, but
Must
opportunities have
be.
come where I've been able to play in Singapore, which is where I'm from originally, which has been I feel a great homecoming for me because I've lived in Perth majority of my life. I've still got we've still got close family in Singapore, but I feel like as an adult, I have a really strong connection with Singapore even more than when I was younger. So being able to play in a VIP suite for Taylor Swift and Bruno Mars, and being able to bring my daughters to Taylor Swift as well, um, was a full circle moment because I was with my girls. I got to do what I love. I'm back in Singapore. And from that one gig in for Taylor Swift, in that VIP lounge. That company then booked me Bruno Mars and then also for the Formula One after party. And that was incredible as well.
That
So
would have been amazing.
and that purely came through relationship building. is a huge thing.
Yep.
And then also now I'm touring around Australia, um, being one of the DJs for Disco Club for Lisa and Sarah, who are these amazing podcasters in Queensland. Do you know about Disco Club?
No.
So Disco
What?
Club was is for women between all women. It's an all women event for women primarily between mid 30s, majority 40s, and 50s and 60-year olds. And it's an early start, early finish. Starts at 6, finishes at 10, and I just play old school bangers like
Oh,
from 80s, 90s, the noughts, and it's the best moments of the songs. And there's like sing along moments, and it's a way for women just to get back to, the beauty about music and connecting and not have to worry about anyone judging you, and you're just letting go of your inhibitions and you're dancing like nobody's watching, and these women just have the best time. And that has been they have been such a rewarding gig for me. And we've been playing at like in Fortitude Music Hall, it's 2,500 women in Brisbane. I'm about to play, or in August, in Sydney, Hordern Pavilion, which is an iconic venue. I think there's maybe 4,000 women
oh my
coming to that. So they keep getting bigger and bigger, and that we basically shut down nightclubs. Like we have like they sell out in about 30 minutes, these events, and we take over the whole nightclub, and it's just women, and it's the best fun. That they have been a really great, one of my favorite gigs, because it's so rewarding to see women just absolutely losing it and
yeah.
loving the tracks, and you can see them like we're all going back in time. Like I'll be playing like a prayer, and you can
Yep.
just see them all singing along and going back into. That's what I love about music, is that you can hear a song and you've just gone back in time like 20
Yeah.
years. And you can see that in the women, and that's such a great way to connect. So on on an emotional level, I think these disco club events have been amazing. It's like a dream
Yeah.
for me.
God, I love the sound of that. That sounds
Mm.
right up my alley. So I'm going to have to check that out.
Yes.
Sounds like I'm a bit too late this time, but
Yes. Next year, I will let you know next year. Yes, there
God, I
might
would
be some.
love that so much. It was
Yeah.
funny. I was only saying to one of my friends the other day, you know what I feel like doing? Like just going to like one of those old fashioned discos that we used to go to like all the time and
Yeah.
just dance.
Yeah.
So, oh,
That's exactly what
amazing.
you do. That is exactly what you do. So
Sounds
yeah,
perfect.
no, there's one coming. The next one's in November in Melbourne, and that's sold out
Oh,
in like
bugger.
30 minutes. So we'll have to next year though. Next year.
Next year, definitely. Definitely. So, Claire, like you have rewritten your story on your terms. So, what would you want other women, especially those who feel stuck or boxed in, and there's a lot of women feeling like that at the moment,
Yeah.
um, by what they should do to making really bold career shifts in line with what they want to do?
Oh, that's a great question. I feel like, first of all, don't put any pressure on yourself to be doing a bold move. Like for me, it's taken me 10 years. I still was working on the side, like as a bookkeeper, whilst I was doing, while I started my DJing. So to not put too much pressure, because I feel like when you put too much pressure on yourself, it paralyzes you. So
Mm,
and just do one. Like for me, it was just that one small gig which ended up being the catalyst for many gigs,
mm,
and doing it when you're not ready, saying yes
yep.
when you're not ready is
Yep.
is the ultimate, because I said yes to something I was definitely not ready for. But once you say yes, you're like, you've got to do it, and
Got
you
to do it
really
now.
have to focus, and you're better. I find I'm better with my time management when I've got a bit of a deadline. So
Mm.
don't put pressure on yourself, and say yes before you're ready.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you, Claire. Thank you for being so generous in sharing your story. And I'll be sharing all the links in the show notes in terms of how people can get in contact with you. And you might see some people now at the disco club, and that'll be amazing. So thank you so much for being part of Leading You.
Thank you so much for having me as well, Julie. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure.